It didn't do a bad job of separating out the rigged parts and things. So Moonshot AI has released the Kimi K2.6 Coding Preview model. Now this is going to be a bit of a different introduction because truthfully there's really nothing about this model. What happened was a few hours ago I was scrolling through X and I saw that folks were posting screenshots of emails from a beta access program from Moonshot AI, who are the creators of Kimi, saying thank you for participating in the code preview beta testing thing right here. As we can see, the screenshot is right there. It's going to be released soon. So I saw that and got excited. And then I saw folks were posting pictures of the actual Kimi Code subscription website dashboard, where it was showing that the current model accessible to folks with the subscription was K2.6 Code Preview. So then I just went and signed up for the subscription here to be able to see for myself if this was actually something that did exist. And lo and behold, this is right here. Now I have checked both Moonshot's own X account and additionally to that, the actual blog or website where they would have specifically posted some form of announcement about this model. And even at the current time, I really don't see anything specifically about this. So this is a very, very fresh release, but based on the fact that it is actually showing here in the Kimi Code dashboard as the specific model that is going to be used, coupled with the fact that there is going to be some level of unknown, because in the Kimi coding setup right here, we see that the actual model provider ID that we will have in open code, which is how we're going to be testing it, is not the specific model name as we see indicated in this. It's just basically, if I find the right tab, Kimi for coding. So with that, I do have this running in open code right here. It is set up pertaining to all of these things with the key that is being pulled from this dashboard. So realistically, there's not much else to say. I suppose there is. If you want to follow me on X, you can definitely feel free to do that. Oh, okay, that's the wrong button. There is also a new stealth model on OpenRouter, which you can see seems to be somewhat popular, around 100B. This will be very exciting to see what it is, because I can't imagine this wouldn't be open source, but I have no pertinent knowledge, so don't quote me on that. Also, feel free to subscribe. And let's get into it. So because we're just going to be testing this through open code, this is not going to be a fully proper agentic test, because some of this is just going to be pasting in some of the traditional prompts that I would have otherwise put in the web chat interface, which I should note this is not in. So in the web chat interface, you only see up to Kimi K2.5, which right up until this was the most recent iteration of any Kimi model in existence. But regardless of that, I have just given it the browser OS prompt, as this is always a fun one to initially look at and just see if there's anything that really sticks out in terms of the aesthetics that the model decides to use. Now, what we see right here is seemingly some form of thought process, as it is denoted by this thinking tag, which is italicized, and it's now going to go ahead and give itself some to-dos. So we would imagine that the output here can't be directly compared to trying this just within a web chat interface, being that it's going to function a little more agentically to create this. But the plus side of that is we will hypothetically get a more impressive result than we would have just using it through the web chat interface. So after quite a bit of time, we have received the result. So we'll just open it in Chrome. Okay, I see that stupid update thing. First and foremost, let's check if there is a right click. There is no right click. Now that's not specifically denoted in the prompt. It's just something I like to see if the model fills in on its own. We do have a clock in the bottom right, as well as a tile windows button, which I will wait to press till I actually have more windows open. The icons look nice and clean. There are hover effects over them. And interestingly, we do see the kind of Windows looking icon in the start menu, which is something that used to be seen very often. Less so now, but still sometimes appears. And we just see this is a nice clean UI. Now let's go ahead and just run through these one by one. Calculator, this looks good. Can I resize it from the bottom? Okay, I can't. Can we full screen? We can. Interesting. So the UI actually stayed a fixed size when you full screen it, instead of trying to snap to the full screen, which usually breaks things or makes it look funky. We can minimize to the taskbar and then reopen from there, which is nice. Let's do 75 times 6, 450 divided by 87. All right, now let's check our notepad. Okay, this looks good. Select file. I wonder if I save this, will it actually save it to some little emulated file system here? Okay, let me save this. Enter file name. Okay, now I'm going to open a new one. Can I open the That's actually pretty cool. That makes up for the lack of the right click, I will say. I don't think I've ever really seen that. How many of these do you think we could make? All right, that's actually pretty cool. I've not actually ever seen that implemented as a feature before. In our files, do we have our saved notes? Okay, that would be really cool, but open documents. Everything here looks nice, I will say. We do have nice icons denoting these specific file types as well. None of them, of course, are really. Could we open the TXT? Oh, it does. Okay, all right. We have a little bit of immersion there. Next up, we have a snake game, which now that I'm looking at, I don't know that the icon is directly related to what one would expect, but all right. Yeah, that's great. Why don't you give me a second to actually touch the keyboard before I... Okay, this is a fast snake. And it has that issue where the arrow key also kind of scrolls down the window, which makes it a bit more difficult for those without my skill. I enjoyed that. But now Pong. So what I'm going to be looking for here is if it's implemented some form of AI that plays against us, or if the user has to control both paddles, which has happened in the past. Good. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great. Maybe I need to be on like an ungodly amount of caffeine to actually be able to play this thing. Oh, okay. It was functional, just a bit fast. Maybe the game speed could have been dropped like by 100%. And then we have gradient wallpapers. We can't change them. That's a big failure point, I will say. That's something that is a little disappointing, and I would not have expected to see it fail there. But, you know, it's a preview model, so. All right, here's what we're going to do now. Because it does have that tile feature, I'm going to click this. Very good. Okay, so this is twice in the span of a few days of testing models that I've seen a special feature like this, and this looks very, very, very good. Next up, I'm giving this the self-contained C++ skateboard game. This is a test that's just more difficult for the model, so it gives them a better chance to really be able to show their strengths or weaknesses. All right, and we can see right here, after some troubleshooting, we are met just with a quick glimpse of our end result, as it is just still checking it to make sure that it's proper. From what I saw there, it looked potentially promising, so I am excited to now test it. All right, Skate 3D. Press space to start. On first glance, maybe? Oh, okay, good. Hey, you know what? I do like the graphic qualities of this. The arms are actually moving up and down a bit, so there's some movement to the human when we actually perform tricks here. Now, I'm wondering if these two vertical rails were perhaps intended to be horizontal. Let's try a kickflip. Okay, I think that was the kickflip. Okay, let's try the heel flip. Okay, maybe they're the same. But still, the trick animations, you know what I'll say is the skateboard actually looks kind of all right. Are these rails on the end of these fun boxes? All right, I think we could give it a little bit of proper feedback here. So 19 miles an hour. It's quite something. So I've given it a bit of feedback here, just saying like, hey, you know, I think we could do a little better. There's no grinding logic. So let's see what we can do. All right, we've received the hypothetically fixed version. So, okay, well, look at that. Why is it like it's doing... I think the word I was looking for there, well, first and foremost, we actually do see some form of actual like movement of the rigged humanoid. Rigged is probably... So I think the thing we're seeing here is now some good functionality on the rails. Can we jump onto the rail with a trick? Oh, okay, can we jump off with a trick? No, it doesn't seem like we can. But while it's on the rail, it's really wiggling. Ooh, we did. Okay, that was sick. Look at the way the score's going up there. All right, you know what? There's one final thing I want to do here. So I've told it great, but now make it a Cali skate sim with a boardwalk map, vibes and aesthetic of skate culture in California in the late 90s. I don't necessarily know what to expect from this, but I think it'll be potentially pretty cool. And I have like a vision for this in my mind, which obviously I can't really describe other than say that, but I'm excited to see, okay, it's talking about sunset aesthetics. This could be pretty cool. For the HUD, do you see that? It's planning out like what it's going to say for trick. Sick. Instead of grind complete, stoked for combos, mellow, etc. Retro, chunky text, and warm colors. All right, I'm excited here. Venice 99, Cali skate sim. Press space to shred. Boardwalk beach golden hour. Oh no, what the... I'm so agitated right now that it's difficult because we can see here like a taste of what may, I don't even, how would one go about describing this specific issue? I've done the best I could. I definitely misspelled one or two words in that follow-up prompt, but I said the environment's getting swallowed up by the sunset. I'm not quite sure how to describe what I'm seeing or my disappointment. All right, hypothetically, we may have a fixed result here. And again, we were not able to be sure until we actually went in and started skating. It's better, and I'll take that because we can actually see. Now, this is really, I love this aesthetic. This is a nice aesthetic. I don't know what I was trying to say there. The issue, obviously, is like some of that weird camera thing with the boardwalk, and we're kind of sunken down below it a bit. But I do have to say first, okay, let's try the shove it. Oh, that was awesome. I love the design. This definitely captured what I had in mind when I said like 90s California skate aesthetics. We have the water, we have the sand, we have the boardwalk. Even like the board colors and the colors of the individual were changed. There's also some low poly buildings. And I will say these palm trees are kind of cool. And then let's talk about this sky gradient. This is total like outrun style, which I very much like. I don't think we have ramps here. Not ramps, rails. But, oh, that is a rail. This game will be on Steam for $2.99 if anyone is interested. But also something else to notice is I do believe our rider has a baseball cap on. And additionally to that, we see there's like a logo on the front of the shirt, like someone would see in like a skate kind of vibe or aesthetic like this. So overall, it's not 100% perfect, but I will say given some additional iterations, of course, and things like that, this could definitely be brought to a really polished place. And we even have like lamps and things. So for this next one, I need to find a prompt that I'd previously used. So of course, I'm going to just hop to ultimateplay.com, which is yours truly's own website, where you can upload your AI generated games. And because I have done that as well as many others, so I'm actually happy to see that this has some decent traction. Now, regrettably, I've not really had any ideas on how to monetize this, so it is just a free platform. But if I think of anything good, I will be sure to. Okay, so this is a game that I very much liked. It was super simple and it was created by Meta's Muse Spark. So I'm going to take this prompt and just copy it. I can also play it here, but again, this was a Muse Spark result, so we don't need to see that. But I did like the direction that was taken with this prompt, where essentially it just needs to create a 3D FPS called Steve the PC Repairman, should be placed in a simple help desk office floor, cubicles, PCs to smash enemies, etc. Make it fun, make it look good, be creative, and keep it contained in a single HTML file. All right, let's check out our Steve the PC Repairman Office Mayhem Edition. Okay, interesting start screen with the wrenches and then the hover effects. You know, what is that in the right? Is that like a phone or something? Oh, okay. The camera is... Ugh. Yeah, it definitely meant office drones like people. It wasn't talking about legitimate drones. My help desk. My health is going down. I will say there's some decent tiling effect on the floor, as well as some sparse cubicles. We do have broken blue screen PCs on the desk, and we can't smash them. I saw something green and glowing. Okay, what's this? Oh, it's a health thing. And it worked. And it had a little like splash particle effect when we collected it. That's cool. This is one of the oddest camera mouse movement implementations I've ever seen. Like the way, I mean, for a flight simulator, this would be pretty good. It's decent, but decent isn't going to cut it when we're in an agentic harness. So I've given it a choice here, saying this is about a 4 of 10. I give you the decision whether or not you want to improve this or just, okay, and we see it's going to improve it. Okay, all right, hypothetically it's beefed it up. So when we refresh this, we should get a different game. Oh, wow. What is that? It said it added a hammer. This looks like a, did it freeze? No, yeah, that frame rate is rather atrocious. This is like a... Oh, wow. I don't think I... It's lagging really bad. Hello and welcome to the video. I don't think I can show this. Can I even show this? Okay, you know, it's made worse by the fact that the frame rate is just... It's genuinely like... It is completely frozen. Oh, good. This is just so wrong. Oh, I mean, it made changes. It has the Windows 8 style blue screen, I noticed. Are those like hit effects? Oh, that's... Okay, so... This is just wrong. Oh, so we can see it. It's a hammer. Unfortunately, it inverted the hammer. So the handle end is all we see and not the end with the actual hammer on it. The plant is nice. This is... All right, I'm done with this result. And additionally to that, I say because I was checking my the rate limit, and that was 33% prior to that 4 out of 10 rewrite. So we're at 40% now. I just signed up for the cheapest plan because I just wanted to test this. All right, next test. All right, next up, we're going to be trying the Flight Combat Simulator game, and we'll just see how this goes. Hopefully it doesn't put any hammers in the game. All right, let's take a look at our Flight Combat Simulator. Okay, I'm going to say this initial splash screen is actually interesting. It has like one custom drawn plane icon and then two others that are more traditional, but, oh, okay. This is actually somewhat good because if you do hit the ground, you do crash, which is proper. And there's actually a shadow. Well, okay, there was for a second there. We could see, depending on where the light source is coming from. Let me get back over here and maybe we'll see the shadow again. Okay, we don't, but we see there's some level of depth and height to the terrain. The plane is very interesting. Is there like an afterburner? Okay, so shift makes us go faster, which is cool to see. Oh, did I get shot down? I don't think I did. All right, let's check the propeller plane. That is a nice model. The flight controls are a bit wonky, but all right, overall, we'll just look at the last model, which is the heavy bomber. Okay, and that's again a propeller plane, but it's kind of like a funky purple one. That camera, like the camera logic is very odd there. We can do a backflip. Overall, this is an acceptable result. It's not like state-of-the-art top tier, but I will say the propeller moves nicely, the particle effects, even if the ammunition's not necessarily going in the right direction, that does look good. The horizon looks good, the clouds are kind of light and cool, and it does have proper logic where if you do hit the ground, you do kind of lose. So that's not bad, and this would definitely be something that could be improved upon, but because the usage quota that I have is not 100%, I think it's more fun to do more tests now to see different strengths or weaknesses. So now I'm just giving it kind of the analogous prompt to the flight simulator one, which is of course the ship combat simulator prompt, as I always like to see the way in which they try to implement the water effects, see if they put islands and things like that. A lot of times, sadly, mesh colliders will not be included by default in the ships, meaning that they can just kind of run through one another. Also, I find that with this specific test, it's pretty hard to actually get something that's playable in terms of like you can actually reach the enemy and then shoot at them and things of that sort. So it'll be interesting to see what we get. All right, let's check out Age of Sail, as it has named our flight combat simulator, ship combat. Okay, this is... Sometimes this happens where they're just... they're too fast. Though, I will say, we do have a water effect, we do have splash effects for the cannonballs, and this is actually something interesting to see that's not very oftenly seen. When we move the cursor around, don't get distracted by the fast circling enemy. It actually allows us to choose which side of the cannons that we want to fire. Oh, right mouse button, fire starboard cannons. Okay, so I was incorrect. The cannon logic does work there properly. You just need different mouse buttons to fire different cannons on other sides. Let's see if we can try to get in the way. Something I will say that's kind of cool is as we move here, I'm basically trying to get in the field of where the enemy's going to circle. When we move, the enemy stays right with us, and the circling logic is actually moving with us. There is kind of like a water plane, but we can't go beyond it, which I guess is okay. And the speed is just really a bit too much. But we do have telemetry on our ship, the enemy ship. We did just lose some health. If I try to get myself like in the way of the enemy cannonballs maybe. Overall, this was acceptable. I will say the reflection of the ship in the water, even as we're static right here, we can see the reflection is bobbing up and down as the current or the movement of the water would in real life. So I will say the reflection is pretty cool. We do have individual effects from splashes where the cannonballs land. And again, it's just too fast and the logic for the enemy is not 100% tuned properly, but those are things that are pretty simple fixes. So overall, interesting, and really that reflection is very neat. I now just want to test some of the front end capability, so I'm asking it to create a beautiful website for Slap Fashion, a high energy New York City fashion brand. The website needs to have aesthetic design, smooth effects for transitions, and look like the blend of a high-end fashion magazine with pop culture twist. I kind of want like something else there that's a little harder. So I've added in, additionally, it should also have a high-tech or interactive hero section that will blow away the visitors. So I'll be very interested to see how it does here in a front-end design test. All right, so something I like to see, although very simple, is that it did do all of these in separate scripts, meaning there's an HTML, a CSS, and a JS script that are separate, but it actually put them in their own folder instead of just blatantly littering the home folder, which it is working in with those separate scripts. So just something nice to see. It is starting an HTTP server to be able to preview and take a screenshot to verify the stunning result, which to me seems like it is done. So I'm going to take a... Wow, that is incredibly well done. I am quite... I was not expecting this, I will say. Okay, as we scroll down, no, this is just good. This is very good. This is really good. And something I'm going to specifically mention here for why I think this is so good, beyond just the initial wow factor of that animated hero section that I did ask it for, which this is very, very, very good. It has a slap effect on the text, which I think it did specifically mention doing. But all of the images used here are absolutely 100% spot on for what one would expect to see in a website like this. Join the movement, slap. Okay, I would have liked to have seen like the ability to hit that and have a slap effect, but I am nitpicking. This is really good. We have a good footer section, privacy policy, terms of service, 2026 slap fashion, and then we have the images that are... Let's actually look at some of the text that it put in terms of the new wave, how Gen Z is reshaping fashion, graffiti to gallery, NYC street style, soundtrack of the streets. That's just good. Slap high top, $295. Okay, I think... The bomber, $485. Cargo pants. Okay, so slap logo tee. Oh, and then we have a broken image right there. Street cap. Okay, collection 1. And there's always like a slight, almost magenta effect under the mouse when we move around. We have this rolling centerpiece right there to just separate the fantastic looking hero section. Explore drop, view editorial. This exceeds expectations on first try. I'm very, very pleased with this. I like that. Maybe it's just the way that the specific background color of this photo goes with every other element right here, but still, that's pretty good. Okay, so it mentioned it works in mobile too, so let's just like... I mean, this is not necessarily like... Oh wow, that does look good. So it does scale properly when you make the window smaller and more in line with what one would see in a mobile phone. That's nice to see as well. That is very, very well done. So for the final test, surprise, surprise, we are going to be doing one final game. This is one I've never done before. Create a game called Bistro Brawlers. The scene is a low-poly bistro with nuanced detail. The game is a free-for-all brawl with animated and simple rigged characters which are engaged in a brawl. Elements from the environment can be picked up and used as weapons or just fists. The character model the player uses should be called Stevie and be a buff guy in a chef outfit. The other NPCs can be variable. Make this Steam ready at the price point of $1.99, so put in a level of detail that would justify this price point. It must be contained within a single HTML file and should be able to be opened and played in the Chrome browser. I'm a little interested in the thought process for this one as well. Okay, good. So for the architecture, it's planning out a simple skeletal animation system, which will really be like the make or break for how lifelike the movements of the characters look. All right, so this happened really quickly. I was expecting to wait quite a while longer, so we'll take a peek at this. Okay, I very much like the effect here for the Bistro Brawlers. That's well done. The fine dining free-for-all, now on Steam, $1.99. Enter the bistro. So we have an issue with some form of like the specific like rigging or parts of the humanoid character. So I'll just paste that in. It'll fix it, and then we'll take a peek, hopefully, at the working result. So I have already prepared a follow-up prompt. Even without seeing this, this might be really good. But now let's take a look and see if it fixed. Okay, this is better than I'd expected so far. Although, this is actually, it's frustrating because the weird floor effect is kind of letting it down. But if we actually look at some of the detail here, this is rather impressive. The folks are seemingly stuck, but okay, good. The enemies can hit us as well. Again, some of these movements are just... Okay, maybe we need a different punch animation, but what? I got knocked out? Okay, this was pretty good, and I do like the style of the text here. This is actually very impressive, I'm going to say, but I'll give it a little more feedback here. Now, I'm going to have it redo that, but oh. Alright, so when we did get back up, it didn't necessarily change the enemy's state to reflect that we've gotten back up. So it just looks like this guy's passed out on the table. I see a chair flipped over. This is... I just shouldn't have. You just don't do any like human related combat games with this model. Is okay, so E is to pick something up. Can we pick up this chair? Space is to dodge. All right, what? E. Wow. It didn't do a bad job of separating out the rigged parts and things. I can't show this stuff. Can I pick up a chair or something? Oh, I can. Okay. And it has a different effect. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. It's just is more like aggressive. All right. We have the completed result. So if we just refresh this, we should now be able to. Okay. Better lighting. We do start out still in the table. Ooh, did you see that spin? Okay. It's like in slow-mo, but that's okay. The sound effects are better, okay? So we just smacked on that one guy. Let's see what happens if we get beat. Oh, okay, there's particle effects. There's one more over there in the corner. I'm noticing some, oh, okay, interesting movement. All right, we're about to lose, and we'll see what happens. Oh, all right. Knocked out, get back up. Okay, wave 2. Oh, there's more people in wave 2. Okay, so this is actually better. The movement is odd. It's like if I tap the space bar, then we move faster. It's just, okay, that's actually kind of cool. The way that, like, the... Oh, and can we pick... Yep, I picked the chair up. Oh, now it's slap time. Come on, Stevie, fight back. Okay, this is actually... That was better. And the waves worked. You can pick things up. And I dropped the chair there, but I can also pick it back up. There's a pan on the ground. Can I pick that up? One more. Bam! Ah, no. All right. Wow. That was good. That was good. All right, because this prompt produced an absolutely sick result, here's what we're going to do. I am going to upload it to my own website here, of course, theultimateplay.com game bench, where I now see all of the specific spelling mistakes that I had made. It was called Bistro Brawlers. So now anyone will be able to just go to ultimateplay.com and find this game. Will be in the most recently uploaded game file, and then you can play it or steal the prompt or borrow the prompt, whatever, it's not theft, and then try it with other models, because that produced a very, very decent result, especially in the first try as well. So that is going to conclude our first look and test of what we see right here, the Kimi K2.6 Code Preview model. Again, it was not really much to go on in terms of like an introduction to this. There was no real specific announcement aside from this we see right here. And when we click on that, we go and we see the model access, which I did have to sign up for a coding plan account to be able to access this. I don't see it in the regular Kimi web chat interface, but we did get to use it in open code, and I have to say, this slap fashion site was spot on. This really just did a fantastic job on the front end. It absolutely 100% captured the aesthetic that I was going for here. This was very well done. Bistro Brawlers, quite frankly, is just a masterpiece. There's really nothing else to say about that. I would say out of all the results, probably the browser OS one was the most mid in terms of what we would have expected, because some of the other results were just really, really good. Mainly the iteration of the skate game, which led us to Venice 99. I know it's not perfect, but this was just like, again, I found it captured the intention of the aesthetics that I'd envisioned when giving it prompts very, very well. Who could forget about the Steve the PC Repairman game, which the second try just the inverted hammer just ruined my ability to really even like make any assessment of that result. Beyond that, the flight combat simulator and the ship combat simulator honestly were not really as impressive as what we received with the like combat brawler games, so I don't really know what to say about that, though the reflection from the ship combat simulator in the water was actually pretty cool, and we did have the ability to fire both cannons, as I learned when I actually read the control map. Overall, again, this is a preview model, so I don't specifically know what to say, but it seems to really have quite a propensity for making like brawler style FPS games or something. I mean, we've picked up 2 items now. I have a pan and a chair. And this game is weird to play, so if you do try to play this one on the website, you have to like intermittently tap the space bar. You'll get a feel for it, and then you'll start to move quickly. So it's just very, very cool. Yes, slapped on. So overall, that is going to conclude our first look and test of the newly released Kimi K2.6 Code Preview model. Overall, I think the game results speak for themselves. This was very, very fun to test, and I'm very excited to see more pertinent information about this as we hear sounds of Stevie not doing too well. So that's going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments or in the Discord, and thanks for watching.